Hey there guys, I'm John Campea. Thanks for visiting my movie vlog, and this is my quick review of the brand new animated film, Batman Ninja. The basic setup of this movie is like this. Gorilla Grodd has kind of taken over Arkham Asylum, and he's built this machine to help him dominate time and space. So essentially it's a time machine. Batman shows up to try to stop him, things go wrong, and all of Arkham Asylum disappears, and about 2 seconds later, Batman goes into it as well. When Batman emerges from the vortex, he realizes he is in ancient feudal Japan, so he's basically time traveled. The thing is, even though he went into the vortex just like 2 seconds after Arkham Asylum and everybody else in there did, actually 2 years have passed in feudal Japan, so while he just arrived, all these other characters have actually been there for 2 years already. And let me say this, the premise of this little animated movie is genius. It's brilliant. So basically, here's the idea. Batman shows up in feudal Japan, but the thing is, Gorilla Grodd, the Joker, and several other of the high-profile Batman villains have been there for a while, and they've each taken over a certain territory in Japan. They've become warlords of their own individual territories, and they're all fighting each other to become the supreme warlord or the shogun. And of course, the warlord winning that war at the moment is Joker and Harley Quinn, or Lord Joker, as Joker refers to himself now. And he's got an entire army of samurai with these Joker masks. And anyway, the whole premise of this is brilliant. Taking Batman to feudal Japan, sitting with all these things with warlords, the story setup is incredible. And the design is amazing. Like, watching this thing was like a work of art. Honestly, the design on Batman, the design on Joker is incredible. Seriously, the design of Joker in this thing is one of the best designed Jokers I've ever seen. He looks just amazing as he is, but he looks amazing for that time period as well. And it's just incredible. Ooh, and while we're talking about character design, I've never seen Gorilla Grodd look better. I mean, he looks amazing in this movie. Now, fortunately for Batman, he didn't come through that vortex alone. As it turns out, when Arkham Asylum went through, his allies went through as well. That includes Alfred, Catwoman, Nightwing, Red Robin, Robin, and Red Hood. You know, I still think their naming terminologies are really bad. So you got Red Hood, Robin, and Red Robin. It's just bad naming. One of the neat little sub-themes of the movie as well is, in recent years, I've heard some criticisms about the Batman character, that the Batman character has become a little bit too technology reliant on things. And it feels like this movie directly addresses that, because there's a little bit of a sub-theme where Batman is now realizing, okay, what am I without my technology, without my Batmobile, without the Batwing, without the Batcave? What am I? And he gets back down to the core of who he is. And it's really kind of a nice little journey that he's on a personal level. And I gotta say, one of the best things about this movie is the big climactic battle between Batman and Joker. It's an animated film, and sometimes animated films struggle with giving really intense action. But the action of this final confrontation between Batman and Joker was so much fun to watch. It's beautifully animated. Again, the design stands at the forefront of all this. It's really the superstar here, and it's an exciting, thrilling, epic combat finale. Unfortunately, there's also a whole bunch of stuff in the middle of the film and towards the end of the film that is just so face-smackingly terrible, I'm not even sure I can recommend you watching it. So as I'm talking about some of my negatives here, I'm going to give you this heads up right now. What I'm about to talk about in some of the negatives could be construed by some people as spoilery. There's no big major spoilers in this movie, but this could be construed as spoilery. If you don't want to know anything about what happens in this movie whatsoever, you should probably stop this review now, but I'll try to keep it as limited as possible. So basically, all these villains are their own warlords of their different territories. You got Penguin, Deathstroke, Poison Ivy, Two-Face, of course, Joker, and Gorilla Grodd's doing his thing too. And they all have their own castle. Joker has Castle Arkham, because Arkham Asylum came over, he turned it into Castle Arkham. And they all have their own castles, right? But this is where this movie goes completely off the rails, and not in a, it's so crazy, it's cool. No, it's just dumb. Because you have this incredible idea about taking all these characters to feudal Japan and this war to become Shogun and Batman with his followers and all that kind of stuff. You have an epic setup. And what do? You're in feudal Japan, right? It's probably like 1300 AD. So here's what they do. All the castles that all these warlords have, they're actually all transforming giant robots. Yes, you heard that right. each one of their castles, where the technology came from in the 1300s, I have no idea, but they all transform into these giant walking battle fortresses, right? And then all the warlords start fighting each other with their giant battle fortresses. And then ultimately, the Joker kind of gets the upper hand and he gets control of all of them. And then, guess what happens next? All these giant walking battle fortresses combine like Voltron to make one super giant combat giant walking robot bigger than Godzilla. And if that wasn't enough to make me go, okay, oh my God, I'm completely checked out of this movie now. If that wasn't enough, in the movie, an army of 1,000,000 little monkeys come running out to support Gorilla Grodd, right? So all these 1,000,000 little monkeys, and now they're working for Batman, they come running out to try to attack the giant robot. And of course, these 1,000,000 little monkeys, they all combine to form a giant monkey to fight the robot. And then because he's Batman, all these millions of bats come flying in. And guess what these bats do? You guessed it, they combine to form a giant bat robot of some kind. And they all battle the big monster. It is something that unfortunately completely destroyed the movie for me. All the enjoyment, all the fun, this whole concept of feudal Japan, Batman having now to rely not on technology, but on his body and his mind and his soul and all that kind of stuff. All of it thrown away and ruined when they start getting into frickin' Voltron, basically. And then for some reason, for the world's greatest detective, Batman's really dumb. Like in some scenes he's pretty smart, but in a lot of scenes he does some really stupid things. I think, okay, Batman would not fall for that. Batman wouldn't do that. Oh my God, Batman really wouldn't do that. Like he just comes across as really stupid in some ways. Look, at the end of the day of me trying to decide whether to recommend it, I will probably still recommend checking it out, if for no other reason that the basic concept of it is so rich. The design of the characters is just awe-inspiring. Seriously, you could just put this movie on mute and just watch the character design of it, especially with Joker and Gorilla Grodd. Batman looks really sharp too. All of his dudes like Nightwing looks great. Red Robin looks great. I mean, the design of them is just so breathtakingly gorgeous. It almost by itself makes it worth watching. And once again, even though I kind of checked out of the movie because of the whole giant Voltron thing, the epic final battle between Batman and Joker, and you all knew it was going to come down to Batman and Joker, is so good, it's almost worth the watch just for that one fight. So I'm thinking at the end of the day, yeah, I'll recommend watching it. Just adjust your expectations. Now, granted, I didn't talk a lot about all the twists and the turns and the deceptions and the deceit and the plans and the machinations and all that kind of stuff, but you can watch the movie and find all that stuff out for yourself. The question here is, have you had a chance to watch Batman Ninja yet? If so, what did you think? Do you agree with my assessment? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What do you think? Jump down to the comment section and let me know your thoughts. And listen, guys, while you're here, why don't you take a second, click on that subscribe button, become a subscriber to my YouTube channel. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, simply @JohnCampea. That'll do it for me for now, guys. My name's John Campea, and until my next video, bye-bye.